Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. This whole thing reads like a trashy soap opera, but unfortunately, it's my actual life. And now that the dust has settled, sort of, I'm stuck questioning whether I handled this the right way or if I went too far. I, 35 female, have never had a good relationship with my stepsister Lana, 32 female. From the moment our parents married when we were teenagers, it was obvious we were going to clash. Where I was quiet and academic, Lana was loud, dramatic, and constantly needed to be the center of attention. She thrived on chaos and drama. She always had to one-up everyone. If I made honor roll, she got a new boyfriend. If I made varsity, she accidentally got caught with vodka in her locker and was the talk of school for weeks. My mother married her father when I was 15. Her dad had been a widower and had a princess complex when it came to Lana. He indulged her every whim and expected my mom to play backup. Lana saw me as competition and spent most of our teenage years making my life miserable. She mocked the way I dressed, told people at school I stuffed my bra, and would go out of her way to humiliate me in front of guests. Meanwhile, our parents constantly pushed for us to get along. I was always told to be the bigger person, ignore her, try to understand her background, that she lost her mother very young. Spoiler, no one ever told her to respect me. That dynamic continued well into adulthood. I eventually moved out, went to college, built a career, and cut down contact with her to the bare minimum. Holidays and obligatory family events. She drifted from one job to another, never staying long. Always someone else's fault. She had a string of relationships, all of which ended dramatically. She was the type to post paragraphs of vague emotional Facebook statuses, and then get angry when people asked if she was okay. Our lives went in completely different directions. Until I met my now ex-husband, Daniel, 36 male, about 8 years ago. We met through mutual friends. He was charming, successful, and for a while, I thought I had finally found a person to spend my life with. We got married after 2 years of dating. He was respectful, supportive of my career and my struggles with infertility. We had tried for kids, for years. I had multiple failed rounds of IVF. We were told it was unlikely we'd conceive naturally. It broke my heart, but I accepted it. I started looking into adoption while Daniel seemed to grow more distant. He said he just needed time, that he wasn't sure if he wanted to be a father anymore, that maybe it was a sign. I took that at face value. I shouldn't have. 2 weeks ago, Lana called and said she wanted to grab lunch and talk. That was already a red flag, since we don't do one-on-one lunches. But my mother had been pressuring me to be more inclusive with family and had just gone on a whole speech about how I needed to let go of childhood grudges and give Lana a chance to grow. Against my better judgment, I agreed. The lunch started with fake small talk. Lana commenting on the restaurant decor, my outfit, asking about work. It was clearly building up to something. Then she put her fork down dramatically and told me she was pregnant. I congratulated her politely, not really knowing what else to say. Then she smirked and dropped the real bombshell. She told me the baby was Daniel's, that they had been in love for over a year, that he was only staying with me until he figured out the right time to leave. But now that she was pregnant, he was going to do the right thing, that I'd be served divorce papers soon. Then, with the most smug, venomous tone I've ever heard, she told me that I should have seen this coming, that Daniel needed a real woman, one who could give him what he really wanted, a child, and that I had failed. I stared at her. My hands were shaking, but I didn't say a word at first. I just took a sip of water, stood up, pulled an envelope out of my bag, and dropped it on the table in front of her. Inside were the divorce papers I had served Daniel the day before. Because, you see, I had already found out about his affair, just not with Lana. About a month ago, I came across a strange message on Daniel's laptop. At first, I thought it was spam, but a little digging led me to his mistress, a 26-year-old woman he had apparently been seeing for over 8 months. She had no idea he was married. I met her. I told her the truth, and she showed me their messages, pages and pages of texts about how he was done with me, how he wanted a fresh start, how excited he was that she might be pregnant. She was pregnant. You read it right. She is pregnant as well. Early stages. So, I lawyered up. I had Daniel served at his office with full documentation. I froze our joint accounts, separated assets, and began prepping my public statement. Because Daniel's name, like mine, is tied to business and community organizations, and I refused to let him spin this. So I told Lana calmly that she wasn't the only one, that Daniel had already been served, that I knew about the other mistress and her pregnancy, and then I offered to give Lana the woman's number. I told her they could call each other and decide which one he'd be marrying. The color drained from her face. She accused me of lying. I told her to open the envelope. She went beet red, grabbed her purse, and stormed out of the restaurant without paying her share of the bill. I thought that would be the end of it. I expected rage from Lana. I expected Daniel to try to spin it. What I didn't expect was my mother calling me the next day in tears, shaming me for dropping such horrible news on a pregnant woman. She said I should have waited, that I had been cruel, that even if Lana was wrong, she didn't deserve to be blindsided, that I was better than that. I lost it. I reminded my mother that Lana had shown up to lunch to gloat, to rip open wounds, to insult me and try to humiliate me for my infertility, that she knew what she was doing, that she had weaponized her pregnancy against me, that she had expected to see me fall apart and cry. Instead, she got hit with the truth, and now everyone's acting like I'm the villain. Extended family is split. Some are saying Lana got what she deserved. Others are saying I should have kept quiet, that two wrongs don't make a right, that I should have risen above and not been so cold. For what it's worth, Daniel hasn't said a word to me, not one call, not one email. He's apparently scrambling now because both women know about each other and neither wants anything to do with him. I assume he'll try to spin this into some sob story about how he was pressured, or lost, or misunderstood. He always did know how to manipulate a room. But the question remains, was I the asshole for how I handled that lunch? For calmly and directly pulling the rug out from under a woman who had come to laugh at my pain and then called me bitter for not giving her a standing ovation? So Reddit, am I the a-hole for dropping my own bombshell on my pregnant stepsister after she told me she was carrying my husband's child and that he was leaving me? OP is not the a-hole. Her stepsister came to gloat, to shame her, and to break her. She didn't show up as a victim. She showed up as a villain who thought she'd already won. She wanted to watch OP fall apart so she could feel superior. OP didn't scream or cry. OP handed her the truth on a silver platter, and she couldn't handle it. What OP did wasn't cruel. It was justice. And honestly, it sounds like it's the first time in OP's life she has truly stood up to her toxicity. OP should not let her mother's guilt-tripping rewrite the narrative. OP didn't attack a pregnant woman. She just refused to let her weaponize her pregnancy against OP. And now let's hear community's opinion. This makes my blood boil. You are absolutely not the a-hole. That woman came into your life, slept with your husband, then tried to humiliate you by using your infertility against you. That's next-level evil. Pregnancy is not a shield when you've been actively hurting someone. She thought she had a smug little victory, and you flipped the board on her with pure composure. And your mom. She's more upset about a grown woman being upset than she ever was about what was done to you. That says everything. You didn't shame a pregnant woman. You exposed a liar, not the a-hole, and you deserve an award. Your stepsister walked into that lunch thinking she had all the power. She was gleefully dismantling your life, piece by piece, and throwing your trauma in your face. Then you served her the cold, hard truth, and now suddenly you're the bad guy. Number. She played a dirty game and lost. You didn't scream. You didn't make a scene. You handed her receipts. People like her and your husband expect you to roll over. You didn't. That wasn't cruelty. That was strength. She wanted a dramatic emotional reaction. Instead, you gave her cold, calm facts, and it destroyed her. That's why she and your mother are calling you cruel. Because you didn't play the role they assigned you, not the a-hole. You've spent a lifetime being the one expected to stay quiet while others tear you down. This time, you protected yourself with the truth. Lana didn't care about being pregnant when she tried to ruin your life. So, why should anyone expect you to tiptoe around her feelings when she failed? I'm proud of you, stranger. I'm getting married in May. He has a 25-year-old daughter who is getting married a month after us in June. His mother is very upset that we aren't paying for his daughter's wedding and has been making comments that we are selfish and he doesn't need a second wedding. To be clear, his daughter hasn't asked us for money. Mother-in-law told my soon-to-be stepdaughter that her dad doesn't care about her or he would want to pay for her wedding. His daughter mentioned how hard it was to book a venue because of so many weddings that were postponed due to virus. She did not say she could not afford a venue. And mother-in-law began to cry and say he should view his daughter as his princess and clearly doesn't. The final straw was when his daughter went dress shopping. It was slightly awkward, and I found out after the fact that he pressured her to invite me, which was not cool. She found her dress and was going to buy it, and mother-in-law turned to me in front of everyone, 3 friends, her future mother-in-law, and the consultant, and asked if I was going to pay for it. His daughter even told her to stop. The dress was $14,000. There is no way I was paying for that. Thankfully, his daughter let everyone know that I'd never offered to pay for it, and she wouldn't want me to, and paid for it herself. Mother-in-law told the groom's mother that we clearly didn't love his daughter enough, and it is so sad that we don't want to pay for this. I finally snapped at her to shut up. After, we called her together and told her that she was being ridiculous, and that if she brings up paying for his daughter's wedding one more time, she will be blacklisted from ours. Mother-in-law said we were being too hard on her, and that was a mean threat, and we are heartless. Not the a-hole, guessing mother-in-law doesn't love her granddaughter enough to fork out $14,000 herself, let alone the entire cost of the wedding. Not the a-hole, $14K on a dress? Next time, I'd be like to the mother-in-law, "Oh, I would have done so, but you've been saying how much you'd love to buy it, so I won't tread on your toes." What economic class is your family in? It seems fairly obvious to me that a 25-year-old who has the means to purchase a $14,000 dress isn't in need of financial assistance. In fact, unless your family or the groom is wealthy, someone should be cautioning her to be slightly more moderate with her spending. I got married 3 weeks ago, and my day ended up being spoiled by my family when an argument erupted during the reception that led to 4 people being kicked out or leaving, and a whole bunch of family drama aired for everyone to hear. Background, for those who will ask what it was about. I have 2 uncles and 1 aunt on my mom's side. My mom's oldest brother is Liam, and he has been widowed for almost 25 years now. She was sick briefly and passed quickly and left him and their son, my cousin Ben, behind. Ben is 32 and lost his mom when he was only 7. At some point a year or 2 after Liam's wife passed away, Liam had mentioned maybe dating again to his siblings, and then a few weeks later had told them he changed his mind. And when asked, he said Ben didn't want him to date and replace his mom, and he didn't want to upset his son or force a new person on him if he wanted things to stay the same. He said it would be more trouble than it was worth. Exact quote as told to me by my mom a couple of years ago. My aunt and other uncle were furious that Ben would say that to Liam, and that Liam would swear off dating for a child. But Liam insisted he was fine. Liam has never been on a single date or had any kind of romantic relationship with anyone since his wife died. There are times he seems lonely, but he and Ben are very close, and he spends time with his grandkids a lot also. Apparently, my aunt and other uncle never ever got over the fact Ben never gave his dad permission to date, and the fact he knows Liam hasn't dated and still doesn't encourage it. This all bubbled over at my wedding. I had no idea the anger was still so strong. But while Ben and his wife were dancing, and Liam was dancing with his grandkids, my aunt and other uncle went over to confront Ben and started yelling and calling him selfish. In the space of about 20 minutes, everyone in attendance knew an 8 or 9-year-old Ben had asked his dad not to date, and that Liam listened and had never dated since his wife died. Security had to step in. Ben, his wife, their kids, and Liam all left, and my aunt and uncle were kicked out. I was angry. The whole thing caused such a disruption and shifted the whole focus away from the party. I called my aunt a few days later and told her she needed to apologize, and she said she couldn't believe I would ask for one and wasn't on their side. Then, 3 days ago, I saw her and my uncle and told them they had no right to start an argument at my wedding and should be ashamed of themselves. They said I should care about Liam enough to stand by them and be willing to let my wedding take the place of when it would happen. Am I the a-hole? Totally not the a-hole. Ben really shouldn't have any say now that he's 32. Liam should be able to do whatever he wants now. Your family member shouldn't have brought that up at your wedding. That was very disrespectful to you. These people probably were planning on doing this and wanted to cause a stink. They should really apologize. Not the a-hole. That honor goes to anyone who would stir up decades-old happenings that aren't even any of their business, i.e., your aunt. The fact that she did it at your wedding makes it even worse. Good luck getting an apology out of her. I wouldn't be surprised if she's the type of person who is always right, so never needs to apologize. Not the a-hole. Regardless of the background, they must have had plenty of opportunities over the years to harass Ben, but they chose your wedding to do it. It is beyond my imagination to come up with any reason why they would be so invested in the idea of Liam dating, or why they would be angry because he was trying to do the best by his son. I am a mother to two, 21 female, Zoe, and 17 female, Bay. Their biological father was a narcissist and would demean Zoe and Bay. It took years of court battles, but my husband, Tim, and I finally got full custody when Zoe was 16. Zoe had been in therapy since my initial divorce. Zoe has always had a tendency to be demanding and cruel to others. I myself have gone to therapy and taken parenting classes to help Zoe. I've read books and tried every resource available. A big help was having Zoe channel those emotions into positive outlets, such as kickboxing. Zoe used to enjoy therapy, but called it a waste of time and chose to stop going when she turned 18. Zoe now refuses to find positive outlets for her emotions. Zoe weaponizes her experiences with her biological father and feels they give her the right to mistreat others. She lives at home rent-free while Tim and I pay for her education, $56,000 plus yearly, car, phone, and all other expenses. Zoe refuses to help around the house. Asking Zoe to do any small chore, refilling our dog's bowl, turns into Zoe screaming and swearing while I have to de-escalate. Zoe believes she is entitled to our money and curses at us because we are saving money for Bay's education as well, instead of giving it all to Zoe so she can have fun money. Tim and I left the house last Sunday for a doctor's appointment. I learned Monday from Bay that Zoe had gone on a rant about how I was a selfish bee since I asked her to put a frozen meal in the oven because Tim was feeling tired and he would need food ready as soon as we got home. Tim is a cancer survivor. He completed chemotherapy at the beginning of the year. He is still weak and sick often, yet has continued to work from home to help support us. Zoe told Bay that Tim is a ducking grown man. Why can't he make his own food instead of me doing everything because he's ducking useless? Hearing Zoe say that about the man who supported and nurtured her and was a father to her when her biological father didn't care to was my breaking point. When Zoe came home, I explained her car is still in her name and her last year of college has been paid for already. I told her that she had a month to move out and the year's in to find her own insurance. We will pay for nothing anymore. Tim and I will no longer be treated as ATMs and burdens while providing everything for her. If she wants to act like she's an adult who knows everything, then we will treat her as one and let her support herself. Zoe will likely be staying with her grandparents. My sister is unable to house Zoe due to her lease agreement, but she has told me I am the worst person she has ever met because you never turn your back on family, and I know Zoe's childhood with her biological father will always have changed her. But Zoe's trauma doesn't give her the right to mistreat others, especially the people who have helped and supported her more than anyone. Am I the a-hole? You tried therapy, classes. You financed her schooling. The only last-ditch effort you might have made would to have been to warn her she was on her last legs here. If the worst thing that happens is that she has to live with her grandparents, you're definitely not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. She too, to paraphrase her, is a ducking grown woman and has been a legal adult for 3 years. You're giving her a full month notice, and she has a soft landing spot with her grandparents. Not to mention, college already paid. I hope this is a wake-up call for her about how to treat others. She may have some trauma to deal with, but as she grows up, she'll realize almost everyone has their own crap to deal with, and it doesn't give you an excuse to treat people poorly. Not the a-hole. She sounds like a narcissist too. I, 25 female, have a pretty unique family situation. Every vacation for the past 10 years has been completely controlled by my 27 female sister. Neither I nor my parents have ever had a say in what happens on vacations. Lodging, location, activities all planned by her, funded by my parents. The reason for this is because my sister displays narcissistic behavior, throws tantrums and ruins things when things don't go exactly her way. If, God forbid, you decide you don't want to do the 2 p.m. ferry ride, she gives the entire family the cold shoulder and sets out to make these expensive vacations nothing but pure hell for everyone until we do what she wants. Fast forward. My mom and dad are now divorced, but they take her on fancy week-long solo trips twice a year. I have yet to have a single vacation with either of them. I'm currently pregnant and have a very high-risk pregnancy, so I can't do stairs, bed rest. I asked my mom if we can do a simple trip to the beach, nothing fancy, before the baby comes. Well, my mother felt bad not inviting my sister. She didn't feel bad not bothering to invite me to all the fancy vacations she's taken my sister on. Sister then said we are either staying in an apartment, several floors of stairs up, within walking distance of downtown Charleston, or the trip isn't happening. I explained we need accessible housing, no stairs, because I'm on bed rest. She visibly rolled her eyes and said that she needs walkability. I explained I won't even be able to walk anywhere. The idea was to get a house on the beach so that I can sit on the porch and enjoy having the view, since I can't even walk on the beach. She throws a fit and says she's not going to sit on the beach all weekend, etc. The other thing is, we offered to split the cost with my mom. My sister makes triple what my husband and I make, and she says she's too poor to contribute. Might have something to do with her 200 pairs of shoe collection and 35 designer handbags. So not only is she demanding to have things her way, but she's not even contributing financially. Never has. So she was saying all these nasty things to my mom. My mom comes back to me and asks why I just can't compromise with my sister. I said because at some point, someone needs to put their foot down. She then yelled at me for chastising her parenting. Because I refused to cave because of my pregnancy restrictions, my mom announced there will be no family vacation, and my sister has been so pissed and mean that my mom doesn't want to do a trip with just us either. She blamed me for ruining the potential for a nice family vacation by causing her too much stress and complaining about your sister, and then said I was making the vacation all about me. The real question: am I the a-hole for not caving into my sister's whims? Should I have just done it to keep the peace? Not the a-hole, but it is time to stop going on vacations with your mother and sister. Time for new traditions that include your own family instead of your mother's family. As long as your mother feels obligated to invite your sister as well, nothing will ever be about you. Not the a-hole. It's time to go full no contact with your sister and very low contact with your parents. None of them give a crap about you, and you need to remove yourself from their presence, especially now that you're in the middle of high-risk pregnancy. Not the a-hole. Seriously, screw your sister and your parents. Your sister honestly should just F off, and your parents are just as bad for letting her walk all over them. But God forbid you stand up for yourself and call out this crap. I would go low contact, honestly. She will only get worse, and you don't want that around your baby. Context. This involves me, 25, my brother, 32 male, and his wife, 27 female. When my brother met his wife 5 years back, all of us were very welcoming. But soon it was clear that she wasn't at all interested in being a part of the family. Over the past 5 years, she's come to our family get-togethers like 6 or 7 times. It's always either my brother alone or my brother and my niece, 3 female. Initially, I would try to make plans with her, but she'd always reject it by saying that she doesn't go out much or that she doesn't like shopping or whatever. On the handful of occasions she's attended our family gatherings, she's been very reserved and quiet, giving one-word answers or just smiling whenever someone tries to strike up a conversation. Mostly, she makes some excuse and just doesn't show up. Because of this, my brother has also stopped attending the family gatherings as much as before. My parents are very disappointed with this, and my brother's absence makes them visibly upset. I've asked my brother about it, and he's always maintained that sister-in-law is very introverted and has social anxiety, and that he's not going to force her into doing something she doesn't like. Next week is our dad's 70th birthday, and of course, my brother and his family are invited. This is supposed to be a grand event, with all of our extended family going on a weekend trip. Yesterday, sister-in-law texted me saying that she won't be coming for the trip. The conversation went something like this. Sister-in-law: "Hey, I'm so sorry, but something urgent has come up, and I won't be able to attend the event. It's gonna be only my brother. Me. At least niece is coming, right?" Sister-in-law: "Oh, I would love for her to attend, but she's saying that she won't attend without me." Me: "Then why don't you stop being a stuck-up bee for once and attend the event, since it would mean a lot to my dad if the entire family was there?" Sister-in-law didn't respond after that. Few minutes later, I got a call from my brother, and he was furious. He said that the way I talked to his wife was very disrespectful, and that he will not be coming for the trip until I apologize. I refused to apologize because I felt this was long overdue. So now brother isn't coming for the trip. My dad thinks I should apologize, but my mom thinks I did the right thing. Am I the a-hole? You're the a-hole. Maybe your sister-in-law doesn't want to hang out with you because you suck. You're the a-hole. As your brother said, his wife has social anxiety. You've now further alienated her by calling her a stuck-up bee. I sure as hell wouldn't want to go to a family gathering after being called that. You're the a-hole. She was polite, and you escalated that beyond the point of return. You do realize that you have absolutely vindicated her from ever seeing you or bringing your niece around again, right? You sound hostile and inappropriate, and she can always refer back to that weird 0 to 60 text. Your brother understands that she is introverted, with a low social battery, and he respects that. Why can't you? Answer: you don't like or care about her, so why should she hang out with you again? Your father does not deserve a command performance. Your brother will visit when he is able to, as will your niece. Accept that.